The following is a Candlepin Stars and Strikes rebroadcast featuring some of our most memorable programs.
WNDS Sports and Tri-State Megabucks present Candlepin Stars and Strikes.
Oh, look at this. Look at this! He got it! Ready for a spin!
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is sponsored in part by Washington Toyota Dodge Nissan. Looks good.
Looks good! That's good to go! It's a
Candlepin Stars and Strikes is produced in conjunction with the New Hampshire Candlepin Bowling Association. And now your hosts, Doug Brown and Dan Murphy.
Hi, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes, and we appreciate your taking time out from your busy holiday celebration to join us here on the program on the Winds of New England. I'm Doug Brown along with Dan Murphy, and we've got a little Christmas present of our own here. On this Christmas Day, it's Championship Day, and Paul Berger is going to try and make it 4 wins in a row.
It's amazing. This season's half over already. Yeah, he's trying to make it 4 in a row and become another participant in the Tournament of Champions, but standing in his way is a pretty hot young bowler.
All right, let's talk about both of them. First of all, we'll meet our challenger, our number 5 seed. He has won 3 straight matches. Looking for the sweep today from Hopedale, Massachusetts, it's Paul Berger.
Okay, Paul comes in averaging 127. His individual high triple is 500. Roll-off score 668.
And his scores the last 3 weeks here, he had a 382 to beat both Bob Whitcomb and Stu Bergman, and then last week he rolled a 402 in the semifinals to knock off Mark Gregory. So now he goes for 4 in a row, and as Dan mentioned, a very, very hot bowler is in the number 1 spot. The only bowler to hit 700 in the roll-off from Concord, New Hampshire, meet Glenn Shattuck.
Okay, Glenn averaging 126. Has a high individual single, which is an alley record at Botwell's Bowling Center at 205, and his roll-off score, as you said, 717.
All right, we have $500 to the runner-up today, $1,000 to the winner, and of course the winner also automatically qualifies for the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions in the spring. Bonus money on the line, bonus ball contest later in the show, lots to come in this hour. Sit back, unwrap a few presents, join us for the next hour. We'll start this championship match in just a minute. Don't go away. We are back and just about set to go with our championship match, and it's going to be number 1 against number 5. Paul Berger has knocked off Bob Whitcomb, Stu Bergman, and Mark Gregory in that order. Glenn Shattuck with that big 717 roll-off score at King Lanes in Manchester to put himself in this position, and now it's a question of whether he can stop this man. Paul Berger has won 3 in a row.
And we all know how difficult it is to run the table on this.
Oh, what a shot. And the 2 pieces of wood collide. And
yeah, that was going to take the 5-pin, I believe.
$10. See what happened on that spare attempt. Across? I don't know.
5, 6, and 10. Piece of wood in front of the 6-10. Not an easy shot. Trying to cut the 5-pin.
Ooh.
Now he'll grab 2 if he can.
For the 9. And a 19 start. And that brings us to Glenn Shattuck, who was with us on Skins a few weeks back. This is his 2nd appearance in singles competition. And Glenn has just bookended the year perfectly. Today, Christmas Day, and the last time he was here on singles was the day after New Year's. January 2nd of this year. He lost that match to Dave Richards, and he starts out with a spare. I know you see Glenn bowl quite a bit, Dan, and he's been on a roll lately.
Yeah, I saw him against me in the next
close.
lane, yeah. And it wasn't a pleasant experience for me. We have a lot of fun. And like I said, I see Glenn quite often, more than the other bowlers, obviously, because he bowls at my center. And He has just been on a tear lately. Semi-final roll-offs, the final roll-offs, in league play. People don't know Glenn. Glenn is a pretty good athlete. No matter what he touches, he's an excellent golfer, softball player, and bowler.
And as advertised, he's still hot. He starts out with 2 straight marks, and Paul Berger comes right back with a strike of his own.
1-3 pocket, trips the 4, strike, first mark for Paul Berger this week, and it's a big one, looking for 2.
Oh yeah, double strike. 3rd week in a row that Paul Berger has thrown a double strike.
This time he picks on the same pocket and trips the 4 just like the one before.
Glenn Shattuck gets a strike on
and
spare.
$25.
Whew. What a start here.
This time he crosses over in the 1-2. Good mixing action there for the 9-pin to go.
The bonus money from our friends at Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan.
He wants the 10-pin to go, and it does.
Chance for another 25 here if he can convert this. Come to Salem and save. Rockingham Toyota Dodge Nissan on Route 97 Main Street in Salem, New Hampshire, with the bonus money program here for this season on Stars and Strikes. Glenn has 25 already, looking for 25 more.
Oh,
no.
Chops out the 4-pin. Streak stops at 3. 67 through 4.
And that may not be enough to get the lead.
Exactly what I was going to say. This a $250 ball if he were to knock them all down again. No.
And that's costly too, only 4.
It is, because of the leave especially that he's left himself with.
Trails by 7. And gets the 9 box, 69.5 for Paul Berger with the double strike. Well, last week he had 6 strikes, 9 spares. And he's still looking for his first spare here.
Well, he's got a good angle on that wood. Now he's just got to be careful that the ball doesn't fly up and over the 7-pin. That's exactly what it did.
Nope.
You almost have to take a little speed off the ball if you can do that without losing the accuracy.
As we move farther along in the hour, we'll start to pay closer attention to the 3-game totals today. The 2 qualifiers who are already into the Tri-State Megabucks Tournament of Champions, Jack Quinn at 397 and John Plant at 344. So that's a pretty wide gap.
Yeah, we talked about that a few weeks ago. The winner of this match could really put themselves in a good position in the Tournament of Champions. Ooh, Glenn almost stole that one. Ball went right through the 1-3, and Wood and the ball each took a pin, but left the head pin.
It's a 10, and the lead is 8 for Glenn Shattuck. Glenn from Concord, New Hampshire, works at St. Paul's School. Suppose all the kids are watching. And Glenn has a daughter, Alexis, who's 18.
9 and 10 left for Glenn, and he wants that wood to stick around. Well, it looks like he'll get the 10 all right. The 9-pin could be the problem.
No.
Oh, no, the 9-pin's the one. He went too far left.
$10 again. So the lead's still 8. Well, I guess it begs the question. You mentioned how great a golfer Glenn is. I got to find out if he's ever played Shattuck in.
I don't know.
Oh, another strike for Paul Berger. That's number 3.
And he's had how many marks? 3. This time he picks on the 1-2 pocket and trips the 6-pin. So the 1-3 pocket, it's the 4, and 1-2, it's the 6.
Oh,
How
another
about
double!
Oh my!
2 double strikes in one game. Oh,
Well, you know, he's from this older generation. You know, you don't want to throw too many balls, so he tried.
there's a strike
Glenn comes
for
right
Glenn.
back with one. Oh.
that's 6 strikes that we've seen already. Buried that ball in the 1-3 pocket.
Will he get him double himself? Looked pretty good going in. Triangle. 2, 4, and 5.
Nope.
No,
Glenn
slides.
turned that one over. He knew that he had missed it. Nine.
114 through 8. What I would dare say, he's going to lose the lead now, at least temporarily, with a double strike working.
First ball, so critical for $250.
There it is.
$250 for the triple strike. I guess it was inevitable. That was his 4th double strike opportunity in the last 3 weeks, and there was no question about this one.
Again, tripping the 4-pin.
Another $250 if he hits another one, but that one too full.
But a spare lead with that angle of the wood against the 2-pin, actually against the 3-pin, and he's going to sweep everything to
Yes.
right to left, and
Wow.
he has a monster game, opening game.
That was his first spare after 5 strikes, a double and then a triple. 165 plus another one. 175 for Paul Berger, including 6 strikes and a handshake from Glenn Shattuck. Wow. 175, and that, of course, was an additional $25 in bonus money for each of those last 2 marks. So picked himself up $300 in bonus money there at the end. Glenn Shattuck, who's had a pretty good opening game himself.
Yeah.
He started with 3 marks, added another strike a few boxes ago, but he's going to need a mark right here just to stay somewhere around 30 behind.
Well, he trips out the 6-pin, leaves himself the 3-4, 2-4, I should say. And like Doug says, he really needs this one.
Gets the spare, 134 plus a ball.
Paul Berger left only 2 pins standing, likewise for Glenn Shattuck. Paul Berger, if you just tuned in, threw 1 spare, got a 175.
That'll be a 7 fill for Glenn, so a fine 141. But that leaves him 34 pins behind as Paul Berger fires an incredible 175 with 6 strikes, including a triple. We'll be back with Game 2 on our championship show in a minute. And Glenn Shattuck will lead off Game 2, trailing by 34, even though he threw a 141.
Six, 7, 10 left for Glenn.
And it's a 9 box. Glenn Shattuck had 5 marks, as you saw in that opening game. Paul Berger had 7, and 6 of them were strikes.
Four horsemen left for Glenn, and ooh, that headpin fell the other way. He might have been looking at a strike.
Well, instead, he's got a reasonably favorable spare opportunity here. On the sweep, and there you go.
Spare in a second.
Well, Paul Berger had a lot of one-putt greens in that first game.
That's for sure.
He threw only 20 balls in the first game.
Well, it's a character builder for Glenn Shattuck. He doesn't panic.
Oh!
Look, are you kidding me?
There's 21. So Paul Berger has now thrown 21 balls in this match, and 7 of them have been strikes.
What? No strike?
Well, normally we say that if a bowler is throwing more strikes than spares, usually that's not a good thing. It means they're not making shots or not getting enough pinfall on the first ball. But not in this case.
No, he hasn't anything to shoot at because they're all going down. But no time for Glenn to panic because Glenn is bowling well, and we got a long ways to go. And he's throwing his marks too. Five fill, 4 horsemen plus the 8 pin in the back. Piece of wood that should help him. Another one coming up behind the head pin, which might not help.
Oh, yes. The ball. Oh, how about that?
Little cue shot.
That ball was rolling just hard enough to knock over the 8 pin.
Deflected the ball and came out of the channel and right in the pocket again, and a strike.
Spare, 3 in a row, $25 in bonus money for Glenn Shattuck.
As I said, a long ways to go. Paul Berger back up in lane 32, and so wearing that strike button out.
Well, the thing to think about right now is with Paul Berger starting with a 175 and Glenn Shattuck still bowling well too, that high triple for the Tournament of Champions certainly appears in jeopardy. That 397 that Jack Quinn put up. Spare for Paul Berger in the third. Just off the head pin that time.
It's the type of match you don't want to make any mistakes. You've got to concentrate every single ball.
Just off the head pin, he almost got the kickback. And it's a 9. Well, let's take a breather here.
Yeah, it's like these pins cool off.
We're almost at the halfway point. Terrific championship match in progress. Glenn Shattuck will be working on 3 marks in a row and a strike when we come back. Don't go away. All right, here's what's happening. Right now, the lead is 31 pins for Paul Berger, but Glenn Shattuck is working on a strike. Whatever he throws on this strike will cut into the lead.
Just missed the head pin, and, well, 4 horsemen plus the 8 and 9 in the back. Piece of wood. Trying it for another $25.
Got it!
Does. 4 in a row.
So the 4 on the first ball doesn't hurt him at all because he converts it into the spare. 9th mark for Glenn Shattuck. Each bowler with 9 now.
Off target again, but he gets a 7 drop, the 1, 2, and 8. This for another $25.
81.5 for Glenn Shattuck.
Ooh, sliding by. So
Not this time.
Both bowlers missing the object pin on spare opportunities.
Well, Glenn Shattuck has $75 in bonus money with the 10 bucks there. Paul Berger has $300 in bonus money already. The 5 marks in a row, the triple strike with 2 more added on, 2 more marks added on. And Paul's got another one. That is 8 strikes. And we are now halfway through the match for Paul Berger. 8 strikes. I believe the record is 11, but I'm looking it up even as we speak.
Paul's looking at the 3, 5, and 10. Try to going spare on strike. Ooh, you almost got it from the back. 9 fill.
And 9 it is.
And I gave him a 10 bucks. I'll correct that right now.
Actually, I was overestimating. The record for most strikes by one bowler in a match is 9. And Paul Berger is one of the 2 guys who share that record. Peter Flynn also did it.
Again, Glenn missing the headpin to the right. 4 horsemen in a 9.
Glenn had 91 through 6 boxes and gained only 9 pins.
But you look at the other way and say if he didn't have the 91, he'd be
That's right.
wait for this show to be over.
You're warming up the car.
That's right. So we still got a match.
Oh,
in there and
needs the extra. Well, he's got wood hanging around, though, on the 4 and the 10.
Oh, he missed the wood.
And it's still there, a 9 box, so 2 open frames for Glenn Shattuck. Not a good thing to have in this match. Paul Berger had 9 strikes on April the 30th, 1989, and Peter Flynn had 9 strikes on April the 21st, 1991. Nine box.
Lead now 24 for Paul Berger.
Oh, there's number 9. Well, he's tied his own record and he's got 12 boxes left.
Oh, I don't like to laugh, but this is kind of comical. I mean, it's just like this is easy.
By the way, Paul already broke a record in the first game with his 6 strikes in the first game. He broke that record, which was co-held by Mike Morgan and Joe Ashline.
Glenn Shattuck keeps plucking away here. He's refuses to just pick up his bowling balls and go home. 120 in the 9th plus a ball.
Well, both of these guys are going to have pretty good paydays.
Right in the pocket. This time a 9-pin drop.
Glenn picks this up, he'll be in the 140s again. He'll still be trailing, but... Yes.
Yes, 2 in a row.
Chance for a bonus here at the end. If we were to throw a strike on that one. That's 139 plus a ball.
He's going to be up around 280, 285 for a 2-game total, and he's going to be trailing.
And he'll kick out 7 for a 146 and a 2-game total of 287, and that's not going to be good enough to have the lead.
No.
I neglected to mention it before, but I'll mention it now only to point out that the last time Glenn was here in singles competition, the only other time he was here, he threw a 314, so obviously he was looking to better that. He almost caught it in 2 games. But yet he's still trailing in the match.
Well, if Paul were not to mark the last box here, the lead is going to be, well, under 20. It's 25 right now. Box is completed.
Not only that, but it's hard to believe he's going to have over 300 for 2 games. And unless he makes this shot, he's going to have 2 spares in 2 games.
That's amazing.
Be over 300. That is amazing.
Well, it's going to be about a 15, 16, 17 pin lead. It's not bad. Really,
this thing is not over yet.
It's
Paul
amazing.
Berger with a 128 and a 2-game total of 303. So his lead is just 16 now with 1 game to go. I know you're going to stick around. We'll be right back. Third game.
Pins are still smoking down there, and we're going to start the 3rd game.
303 to 287. Paul Berger in the lead after 2 games. Boy, it's really been either a strike or nothing to shoot at for Paul for most of this hour.
Good effort there.
Made about as much as he could out of that. Jack Quinn's 397, I would say, is in grave danger right now.
I'd say so.
Along about the 5th or 6th box, they'll be by that 344. John Plant. Oh, there's another strike, the record breaker. Number 10. 10 strikes in 22 boxes for Paul Berger, and none of them have been cheapies.
Well, that one was a little longer than most of them. Oh, my. It's fun to watch when these people get into that zone.
Glenn Shattuck is hanging around.
Kicks out the 4-7, leaves himself the 6-10. Obviously can't make any mistakes.
Could very easily have matching 400s here. We've only had 2 400s all season. One by Jack Quinn and one by Dave Richards. On the spare, Glenn is in the pocket for a strike.
On spare. Oh, boys and girls, if you just turned in late, you've been missing one. You're going to remember this match for a long time.
That's 14 strikes now between the 2 bowlers. Look out! Oh! Another double! Another double strike for Paul Berger, and Glenn Shattuck can only bow in respect. Incredible. $250 more on the line here, bonus money. Full, but watch out. The way things are going, who knows? Well, he's left with the 7-10.
You would think the match would be over by now, too, but...
Oh, wow! That's worth $25. That's only his 3rd spare of the match. 3 spares and 11 strikes for Paul Berger. That's his first spare in 11 boxes.
Well, if Glenn Shattuck was going to throw a double, now's the time. My, oh my.
Paul Berger's thrown 2 doubles and a triple already. Oh, Glenn dropped that one.
Yep.
But it's on a strike, so he can still bail out here. For the spare?
Oh, that close.
I'll have to settle for 9. He's going to lose more to the lead. The 10 box. So he's now down by 25, and it would really be almost critical to get a mark here to make sure Paul doesn't get that lead over 30 with 6 boxes to go.
Yeah, you would think he'd probably run out of strikes, but he's due for some spares. I don't know. Glenn, a little full this time. Can he kick out the 10? Well, let's see the wood settles down. No, well.
Do you go for the left wood or the right wood? That's that wood behind the 4-pin might help. That's where he's going. Oh, it got over there, and the 4-pin is still up. So Paul Berger will be increasing his lead into the 30s probably with the fill on that mark. Glenn Shattuck at 59 through 4. Paul Berger at 58 with a spare up in the 4th. We will be back for the finish to this great championship match on Stars and Strikes after these messages. Paul Berger getting those glasses adjusted. They seem to be working okay so far.
I was going to say, don't touch them.
Oof. He's working on a spare. He's got 3 marks in a row. And is it another one? He'll have to settle for a 9 drop this time.
Well, he's going to have to make a spare. He's got the 4-pin up.
No.
Ooh, sliding by.
So there goes the bonus money string. The The last bowler to win 4 matches in a row was Neil Gosselin back in February and March of '93. It is not an easy thing to do. And there's strike number 12. Boy. Paul's going to have to write a personal letter of apology to Emmett Horgan if this keeps up.
Well, if Glenn Shattuck got one more run in him, it's going to have to start marking.
Possibilities here. And no. $9.
Ho hum, 68.5. He's down by another 18 this game.
Glenn throws the big first ball. He'll shoot at the 7-8.
Looks like if the ball breaks from right to left, so if he's down low in the wood toward the 7 and have the ball come off that wood, he should get it.
Got it.
Yes.
That's it. Talked many times about how Paul Berger has come in more often than not as the number 1 seed. This time he comes in as the number 5 seed, but if he does go on to win this match, whoever wins this match is going to be posting a score that will be very, very difficult to beat. Paul is already over 400. We're only in the 6th
only
box.
5 fell on the strike. A little bit of light in the tunnel for Glenn Shattuck. Working on a spare.
$7. Paul right now is at 411 with 3 boxes to go. He has 12 strikes in this match. The old record here on Stars and Strikes was 9. Missed the head pin. How many times does that happen?
That many strikes, not many. He's got the 1 and the 10.
For the spare. A rare spare. Now, Glenn Shattuck working on a spare. Slipped out of his hand a little bit, and he comes back for the 9 drop.
Everything but the head pin.
Well, he can take advantage of that 7 box if he were to put one up here.
Uh-oh, he's going for...
Oh, no. That was a big miss.
Yeah, it was. That...
And that wood was frozen too, so all he had to do was hit it. Here's what the first ball did in that box. Looked like it could have been a half Worcester. I have to have a piece of deadwood cleared away on the new rack on lane 31, and then Glenn will get ready for box number 8. He trails by 27, as you see there, but he's opposite a mark, so he really needs to put one up here to give himself any kind of a chance.
He's already at 387. 384, I should say.
And there's a big strike in the 8th.
How big is that?
That's very big. Well, it'll be even bigger depending on what he does on it. When
I'm sure Glenn's thinking of the box before. That's the thing.
Yep.
The head pin, the break there.
Yep.
But it almost assures him of a 400 series too. And boy, I'll tell you, what a match these guys have put on.
Paul Berger working on a spare. This is the head pin again. But drops 8. Paul knows that Glenn has that strike sitting there.
Yeah. Nice time for a double or triple for Glenn and go into overtime.
Oh, we have plenty of time for it.
That's true.
Good time for another game. We want 135 with a box to go for Paul Berger.
And 438 right at this point.
This is, by the way, nowhere near our all-time record high triple, which is 482 by Peter Flynn. Yes, the spare in the 10th. Just had to wait for that wood to slide over there. Well, right now it's 5 spares and 12 strikes for Paul Berger. He's got a chance for number 13 right here. He'll settle for 6, 151 and a 454. Gets a handshake from Glenn Shattuck. It is going to take strikes and plenty of them for Glenn here. Glenn needs to come up with a 168 in order to win. He's on a strike, and he needed another one. Gets the spare. Well, let's see. He can still do this with a double strike here in the 10th. Actually, I take it back. He could get a 167 exactly and tie it. If he were to strike out here with a triple, he would tie this match and we go to overtime. Look out! Oh, that close. Paul Berger has won it.
But this is $25 for Glenn Shattuck in bonus money.
And he'll get it. That's $100 for Glenn total. And he'll be up over 150 most likely. That is 17 marks for Glenn Shattuck. Paul Berger also had 17. And he'll go out with a 6 fill, a 152. Glenn Shattuck wins 2 of the 3 games. And what a match this was. Great sportsmanship by both bowlers. A 152 for Glenn Shattuck. A 439 is not good enough. We'll be back to award the prize money and talk more about this one when we come back. Welcome back to Park Place Lanes here in Windham, New Hampshire, and what a holiday gift we had for you today. We're going to be saving this score sheet, I can tell you that. Paul Berger at 454, Glenn Shattuck at 439. Just a couple of the quick numbers, Dan. Several records broken in this show. One that was tied was the total pinfall for the 2 bowlers, 893. That ties a record that goes back about 3 years or so. Paul Berger broke a record with 12 strikes. The old record was 9. And also an interesting note on the marks in this match, Paul Berger with 5 spares and 12 strikes. And Glenn Shattuck had 5 strikes and 12 spares.
Well, both of them had something to prove. Paul was here a few weeks ago, and he didn't embarrass himself, but he wasn't happy with his performance, and he was determined to come back and do better. He did that. Glenn, on the other hand, was with us a year ago and hit 314, and I told him, I said, you got to get over those humps. You got to get relaxed on TV. You got to attack the pins. He did all that. I've seen Glenn bowl the last couple of months, and he's been very, very hot, and he hits 439. He's over the hump. Both bowlers proved themselves. Unfortunately, we got to send one home as a loser.
Now the question is, have you ever been in that much of a groove where you've been throwing strikes like that?
Well, if I was in a situation like that, I probably would have let one fly at Paul and try to slow the strikes down a little bit. But no, I've never been in a match like that. And there's no defense in this game. You have to sit back and take it. And you think that maybe the strikes are going to stop. It was just an incredible thing, and I'm glad I was part of it. And
well, he had 6 strikes in the first game, including a double and a triple. Then he had 3 strikes in the second game, and then 3 more strikes in the third game for a total of 12. Just an incredible performance. We'll chat with Paul in just 1 second. But first, how about a big round of applause for Glenn Shattuck with a 439, which today was not good enough. Well, 125 pins better than last time, but still not good enough. Terrific job.
Oh, thanks. I bowled a lot real well today. I missed a couple, but there's nothing you can do against strikes.
Well, I was going to say there weren't very many missed shots today by either one of you, but probably the one you'd like to have back maybe would be, I believe it was the 7th box, or you would have had 5 marks in a row there to end it. Might have put a little extra pressure on.
Yeah, I was trying. My ball's been fading, so I got it to fade, but at that time it hooked, so I missed it to the left instead of missing it to the wood side. And thank God it didn't cost me.
Well, I have to ask you this because we talked about it during the show. Dan's been telling me what a great golfer you are, Glenn, and I just want to know if you've ever played Shattuck in.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
Shot 71, matter of fact.
Oh, well, you're a much better man than I. That would be my score for the front 9, I'm sure. We have a check for you here, Glenn. $500, also $100 in bonus money. A pretty good payday, and we hope that you'll come back and join us again real soon. I know you've been going well lately, so this has got to make you feel pretty good.
I've been bowling real well. I'll be back, I hope.
All right.
I hope it isn't against Paul.
Well, you don't have to worry about him for the rest of the year, at least. So thanks very much, Glenn. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Great job. And now Paul Berger for the bonus ball contest. And we have $30 on the line here, which somehow seems like slim pickings after everything that's gone on today.
As you're talking to Glenn, another interesting stat. 17 pins is all was left standing between the two bowlers, and that's with a 7 box of Paul.
Wow. Well, there's 7 more on the bonus ball, so let's see if that's good enough for a winner. For a $30 winner.
He can buy his own.
Not a match. The guess was 8 for Raymond Pino of Derry, New Hampshire. So, Raymond, we appreciate your sending a card in, and we'll be sending you a consolation gift from the Winds and also from the NHCBA. How about another round of applause for this man? Congratulations, Paul. Just terrific job. 454 and 12 strikes. Now, I'll ask you, have you ever been in a situation where you've thrown that many strikes?
Absolutely not.
not even the 500 triple?
Absolutely not. No, I had 1 double in that. Most of it was spares. Pretty much most of the boxes, as a matter of fact. But there were a few strikes in there toward the end, but nothing like this. This was one of those things.
I guess the key in a situation like this is you just try and keep bowling without thinking, right?
Absolutely. The only thing that was driving me was the fact that I got here the last time and come up short, and I didn't really like the performance, to be honest with you, and I wanted to come right back and show the people I could do a little better than that.
Well, I would say you more than made up for it. You become the first guy in almost 2 years to win 4 in a row. And not only that, we have a little cash here to give you. We have $1,000 for first prize for winning. We also have $325 in bonus money, so a pretty good payday. And for the 7th year in a row, no small order too. For the 7th year in a row, you'll be in the Tournament of Champions.
That's great, and this time's my year.
Well, that 454 looking pretty good, I would say, for right now. But still, 3 more guys have to qualify.
Absolutely, I'm just glad to be here again.
Well, it was quite a show all 4 weeks, but most especially today. Thanks very much, Paul. Congratulations.
Thank you. Merry Christmas.
All right, the same to you. I'm sure it'll be a good one. Paul Berger with just an incredible performance here. We've seen him run up some great numbers here over the years, and now, by the way, his overall record in singles here on Stars and Strikes is a very impressive 14-6, but he still has only 1 loss in the regular season. All those other losses came in the Tournament of Champions, and he'll be there again 7th year in a row.
That's right, and those great champions, and to add to it, he's a nice guy.
Yeah, that's very true. And as is Glenn Shattuck, and a terrific performance by both these guys today. It would have been something even if Paul had thrown the 454 with all the strikes. But when you add in the fact that it was a competitive match and that Glenn just kept plugging away and was in sight the whole way, that just made it terrific.
Well, I think Paul forgot to add that. I mean, guys on your tails all the time, you're pressing all the time, and it probably helped his score a little bit too.
All right, we hope you enjoyed the past hour. We certainly have here on Stars and Strikes. Don't forget, another holiday weekend coming up, but we'll be right back with you here on the Winds of New England. New Year's Eve at 12 noon on Saturday, we'll have Candlepin skins for you. And New Year's Day, get up a little earlier than you planned maybe, and join us at 12 noon for a brand new series here on Candlepin Stars and Strikes. Until next weekend, for Dan Murphy and the whole crew, I'm Doug Brown. Have a great Christmas, everybody, and thanks for joining us.